You're listening to The Bird Bath. Want your brand in front of the people shaping the future of veterinary medicine? Join The Bird Bath, the industry's favorite news podcast where thousands of veterinarians, executives, and innovators tune in weekly for the latest on consolidation, tech, and trends. From hospital owners to corporate deal makers, our listeners run the veterinary world, and your message can reach them directly. Advertise with The Bird Bath. Email hello@thebirdbath.io to get started. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. This week is National Veterinary Technician Week, and it would be a huge mistake if we did not take the time to show the appreciation for the incredible work that vet techs do all over the industry. They are the backbone and a vital point to what's happening in our industry. So whenever I talk with people, we talk about the veterinarian so often. But what people don't think about when they're looking at that is the fact that for every vet that you have in a clinic, you have a team of veterinary technicians that are bringing that care to fruition. You can have a leader, but you need that team to be able to make sure that things are happening and getting accomplished. The veterinary technicians are the backbone and the real force behind this industry. So take a second, appreciate the veterinary technicians that you know, send them something nice, show them some love, and thank you to all veterinary technicians on this incredible week. One state that's going all the way on Vet Tech Week is California. They've been working on this a bit, and I don't think they planned it to fall this week, but California has enacted two significant pieces of legislation aimed at addressing the state's veterinary workforce shortage by expanding and clarifying the scope of practices for registered veterinary technicians, or RVTs, and veterinary assistants. Governor Gavin Newsom signed Assembly Bill 516 last week and Senate Bill 602 just earlier this week. The two bills are really big. They link a lot of different things to increasing the type of care that can happen in a clinic. The first bill, 516, Assembly Bill 516, is the clarification, really. It looks at the overall scope of care that veterinary assistants and RVTs are, what they say, allowed to perform. So they're allowed to perform any task that they are not explicitly prohibited from undertaking by law, which honestly, if I was in charge of writing laws, that's what a lot of them would sound like. Basically, in California, with this new law, vet techs, RVTs, and veterinary assistants are able to now do everything that the law doesn't tell them that they can't do. So instead of getting permission to do it, they're only barred from doing things that they can't do. The legislation really dove into the confusion and some of the unnecessary restrictions on the scope that prevented RVTs and vet assistants from fully utilizing all of the skills that they have. Really looking at upskilling what these professionals are able to do and allowing them to work at the top of their license. Supervising veterinarians still retain the overall discretion to restrict where the staff is working on the things that they feel like they have both the competency and the skills to be able to accomplish, but it really does give the opportunity for these technicians to step up and do more within the practices. The bill also authorizes registered veterinary technicians to perform dental care procedures, including tooth extractions, under the supervision of veterinarians. So very cool on that one. And then Senate Bill 602 increases the autonomy of RVTs in shelters. So this is one that's tackling the really difficult spot of staffing shelter medicine. RVTs now are able to perform essential appointments such as administering vaccine and parasite control without a supervising veterinarian on site. So this means that the vaccine clinics and parasite clinics and things like that are going to be able to work exclusively with an RVT. The legislation has changed here so that the supervision requirements don't require that there's a DVM on site, but that an RVT can administer the vaccines or medications in vet clinics that are public animal controlled agencies or shelters private animal shelters, humane society shelters, or societies for the prevention of cruelty to animal shelters, when the veterinarian is in the general vicinity or available by phone and is quickly and easily available. It's kind of an interesting one because the oversight piece of this is one of the questions that falls when people talk about the mid-level practitioner role. Where and how available does a DVM need to be overseeing the care that's happening in these clinics? So it's very interesting to see what this does. Very cool to see that California is tackling some stuff that people have been wanting to see. It's going to allow an increase of flexibility within shelter medicine, but it also does claw out some of the overall work that was exclusively to veterinarians. So if people are looking at that as a availability of increasing technician appointments, are we going to also see an increase in the pay for these technicians that are doing more and more throughout their day? So very interesting to see where this goes. Lots of other states are in similar processes. So interested to see, and I will always keep you up to date on what's going on there. OpenVet is an AI reasoning platform built for veterinary medicine. The reason why a computer or an AI tool passing and getting 100% on the NAVLE is that this now sort of brings us to the point where people are asking the question of how much information needs to go into the brain of the DVM versus how much of it can be relied upon with this very direct and instant recall that artificial intelligence is able to provide in animal health. So the NAVLE, it's kind of that first benchmark that veterinarians see when they go to get their licensure, and getting 100% on it is not easy. And we've even seen a lot of universities that have students graduating that aren't passing the test. So to see a AI tool passing it with 100% accuracy is pretty neat. The co-founder and CEO of OpenVet, Adam Sager, said veterinarians face enormous pressure. They are understaffed, overworked, and tasked with caring for animals whose health has direct impact not just on families and pets, but also on food supply, agriculture, and even emerging diseases that can jump to humans. By proving that AI can perform at the highest level of veterinary knowledge, we're laying the groundwork for technology that enhances care, extends access, and strengthens global health. Very interesting here. The thing that people have told me about the NAVLE when they look at the breadth of knowledge that's required to pass it, I think the example was given that there's at least 2 questions about caring for peacocks, which is not something that most veterinarians come across. But looking at utilizing an AI tool to bridge that gap of understanding allows there to be some additional flexibility in the immediate recall of information that a veterinarian has, and allows veterinarians to potentially better focus directly on the medicine that they're going to practice in a daily occurrence, while having access and artificial intelligence to help them bridge the gap on the less common, less frequent things that they're seeing in their clinic. So definitely one that I think could be interesting. I had a conversation with another AI company about this before I even saw this OpenVet story and asked, well, can your AI tool pass the NAVLE? And I think that could be a really cool new minimum benchmark that we're requesting to be able to see if we're going to start looking to tools to give us assistance with decision support and things like that, that they better be able to be 100% accurate on the licensing exam. So congratulations to OpenVet, and looking forward to hearing from every single other AI tool that says or thinks that they can do this. So kudos, and let's see what we've got out there in the industry. Now, from a groundbreaking tool and a groundbreaking idea to something a little bit more digestible and rinsed and repeated, but new for this company, Skiptown has just put out their new franchising opportunity with their new model. It's a really cool Skiptown. We've talked about them a couple times. They consider themselves a tech-enabled pet care facility. They offer daycare, boarding, full-service grooming, and dog walking. And what they're offering now is the ability to franchise to expand their national footprint. They have a big corporate-owned locations in Charlotte, Atlanta, Denver, and now, much like we saw with some other animal health companies that have grown drastically over the years, we're seeing them open this up to entrepreneurs that want to join this concept. As part of the franchise launch, Skiptown is introducing some new facility prototypes designed to deliver their signature services. The company wants to target growth in Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Kansas, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Skiptown says that they've had already more than 50,000 dogs in their 3 corporate locations. They continue to see a lot of growth, and they're hoping to have a lot of new people get excited about participating in this. I, for one, have seen the growth of franchise models be a really great way for people that aren't ready to jump in exclusively to their own business, but to find a way to have a team that's there and has worked through these things. So Skiptown is hosting their Meet the Team Day in Atlanta on October 22nd. They're welcoming prospective franchise candidates from multiple states. And the goal here is for them to be able to grow the Skiptown brand nationally at a much faster rate than they could with exclusively corporate businesses. So kudos to them. Looking forward to seeing that. If you start a Skiptown franchise, let me know. I'd love to hear how that goes. We've seen things like Canine Resort. We saw obviously Banfield was originally a franchise model and then took those back private. We saw Easy Vet clinics come and go as a franchise, and now they're exclusively owned by the franchisees, the whole brand. So a lot of interesting companies across the board here that have done great things in franchising. If you're a new DVM and you were trying to understand maybe, I guess a franchise could be a great way for you to go out on your own, but if you're not quite ready to take a leap like that, it might be that you need a great mentor. Well, ReadyVet Go was really proud to announce that they've celebrated their 200th mentee as part of their October veterinary mentorship cohort. And that was a cohort that sold out. The sold out enrollment of this cohort for ReadyVet Go reflects a surge of interest from both corporate and independent practices. The cohort includes partnerships with companies like VetCore, with sponsorships from Hill's Pet Nutrition, Bond Vet, Heartland Veterinary Partners, who both had support from Boehringer Ingelheim, as well as numerous independent hospitals across the country. It's a really interesting opportunity here for doctors that are new to practice, both in independent as well as corporately owned practices, to build a community of people and not only seasoned veterinarians to be their mentors, but also fellow mentees to grow in their relationship in the industry together. The October cohort also features scholarship recipients from the Diversity Veterinary Medicine Coalition, which is funded by the Mars Corporation. So lots of great things here. I know I've had a great opportunity to know the team at ReadyVet Go over the last couple of years and have been extremely impressed by the quality of people that are helping guide new DVMs into the future of this industry. Our final story this week is about Akston Biosciences, which I have seen on a lot of the startup circuits, doing a lot of the different pitches, and they have filed and set their terms for their $20 million IPO. They're a biotech startup developing antibodies and protein therapies for pets. Last week, they filed with the SEC to raise up to $20 million in an initial public offering. They're based out of Massachusetts, and they plan to raise this $20 million by offering 2.2 million shares at a price range between $8 and $10 a share. If they were to bring all of this together, it would bring the market cap of Akston Biosciences to about $100 million. The company has been growing steadily for the past couple of years here, and they've developed biologic therapeutics for companion animals targeting cancer, dermatitis, OA pain, as well as obesity. The lead candidate in their portfolio is an antibody for canine bladder cancer, and it's eligible for conditional USDA licensure and is in pilot testing. Additional programs that they're working on: an infusion platform aimed to provide long-lasting treatments. So very interesting business here. The company was founded in 2011 and claims to have booked $7 million in revenue for the past 12 months. They plan to list on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol AXTN, so add them to your portfolio when you're wanting to keep up to date on what's happening in the industry. For more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. Thank you to our veterinary technicians, and see you next week.